if you're selling a house, this could happen to you. If you're an agent, you can experience the same thing. And if you are a buyer, maybe you can relate to one of the following things we're going to discuss today.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. Kim
Hey,
and
guys.
Greg here. Hey, we always love to bring you housing market updates.
Yeah.
Today we wanted to dive in a little bit deeper on these housing market updates and share with you an experience that we had recently, just to kind of set your expectations. Maybe if you're selling a house, this could happen to you. If you're an agent, you can experience the same thing. And if you are a buyer, maybe you can relate to one of the following things we're going to discuss today.
Yeah.
So
All right.
we had a listing
In Georgia.
in Georgia. We had a listing recently that closed, and we wanted to tell you a little bit about the roller coaster ride that it took us to actually get it to closing. And you will not guess the steps and events that we went through.
Yeah.
So I want to let Greg start out explaining how it got on the market, Greg, how it was priced, what our expectations were, and the events that happened.
Yeah. So past client calls us and says, hey, I found a house I really would love to see. We go and show that property. They get all excited. We talk about listing their house and the price points and so on and so forth. We did warn them about the market, right? Because this is a changing market. This is not the same market 6 months ago or even 4 months ago.
And we're talking about the end of September, so this
Yes.
is, current.
Right. So basically, we go ahead, we list their property. They have it in amazing condition. They moved stuff out, got it ready, literally staged the house beautifully. Mm-hmm. A lot of the feedback from the agents said the house is showing amazing. Wow, what an experience at this listing. It was a pleasure to show it, all that great stuff. So our clients did all the right things. We were listed at the right prices because we were getting some activity. We basically, within that first week, we were a little quiet, which was a little off for what we thought was going to happen. So we popped an open house. Through the open house, we had a couple of people come through. We get a buyer who's really excited, came with their agent, their parents, super excited. They go ahead and write an offer accepted by the seller, and they go into terms of, their due diligence and so on and so forth. Funny thing is, I'm going to let Kim talk about it a little bit about how that first hiccup went and where the roller coaster ride started. When you get on a roller coaster, you hear tick, 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 and you get to the top and you're thinking, oh, this is going to be a fun ride. Well, it was. So here you go, Kim.
I don't know about fun.
Yeah.
Like, not fun for the sellers, not fun for
not for
us.
us.
But, we can laugh about it now because it did finally close.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this. Greg gave you a little hint, the first buyer. So that kind of segues into that we were under contract more than once. So buyer number one loves the house, like Greg said, saw it at the open house. We get to a point where we're having the inspections, and then the agent calls and says, hey, listen, my buyer's going to terminate. And we're like, what do you mean? Oh my gosh, what happened? Is there something wrong with the house?
Right.
They're going to terminate, during the inspection? Give us the opportunity to maybe fix some of the items that they might have found during the inspection period. What happened? Okay, hold on to your hats, people. Here's what happened. The husband never saw the house.
Right.
He saw the house only during the inspection, and he didn't like it.
He was mad.
So the wife was the one who convinced him that they had to buy this house to get his signature, that it was phenomenal. He gets there, doesn't like it, deal is squashed. The end.
That saying, happy wife, happy life. I don't think he's having a happy life right now.
Oh gosh, I would hate to be him.
I think
I'm just saying.
He's rowing down the trouble train.
Anyway, so we basically said, okay.
Yeah. Next.
Bye-bye.
Yep.
So
Go ahead. Talk about
All right,
buyer number 2.
Buyer number 2. So a little while later, we get another buyer. They're super excited. Everything's going beautifully. We get through the inspection period. We still have a finance contingency in place and an appraisal contingency. So we had negotiated the terms, any repairs that were needed. And guess what? Buyer number 2 terminates. Apparently, buyer number 2 worked for Amazon, and there was a threat of him losing his job. So
the panic set in for him.
Panic set in, and we felt really bad. Amazon over the last couple of years have really expanded their distribution centers right here in this area in Georgia, and so we were shocked to hear that, he was possibly going to lose his job. We couldn't help that. Of course, we were like, okay, well, you still, if there's an opportunity for you to do that, we just let them go. So buyer number 2, close up.
However you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
So now, again, if anybody can guess, how many buyers does it take to close a home? It's kind of like that lollipop thing, right? How many licks does it take to get to the center? Well, let's just say this.
Let's just bite it.
It's not 3, but we're going to get to number 3. So buyer number 3 gets the house, see the house, amazing. Again, agents gets excited. Oh my God, my client loves it. We're like, I know, it's a great house. Let's talk about that. So they get it under contract. They're in due diligence. Don't even set the inspection up yet. And the buyer's parents want to come and see the house.
Right. I mean, they're super excited.
Yeah.
They're going to buy their first house here. They want their parents to see it. Okay.
So we have to call the seller and be like, hey, the inspection's probably set for like Wednesday, but the buyer wants to bring the parents by on Sunday night. Is it okay if you guys can step out for a little bit? Whatever. They're like, sure. If their parents want to see it, that's amazing. Well,
Okay. I don't know about you guys, but I am a grown-ass woman, and my mom is not telling me what house I can or can't buy.
Right.
Neither is my dad if it's not attached to their wallet or bank account.
Thank you. So,
bye-bye, people.
Guess what happened? You guessed it. Parents are like, this is not the right house for you. So I'm like, okay, well, due diligence time.
People,
out the door.
On.
You want to talk about number 4?
I don't even know.
I mean, I'm laughing, but I can only laugh now because
Okay.
the pain that our clients went through throughout this was like that roller coaster that never ended. And you had the whips and the turns, and you're like, I'm going to throw up, right?
At this point in the game, our sellers are completely exhausted.
Yeah.
They were the sweetest couple. They had so much faith and trust in us. And, Greg and I collaborated and we're like, what can we do? How much more can we possibly do? We called the lenders every single time we got an offer before it was accepted to make sure these people were eligible, make sure they had the funds for the down payment, make sure, A to Z everything, that everything was just in line to make it a seamless transaction.
Yeah, we
So
get stuck on our checklist to make sure that, like Kim said, because you have to stay informed on everything of the buyer's side that you don't know about. So this way you're protecting your client.
Right.
So here you go.
So here we go. Okay, number 4. I don't even know how to say this. This was the mother of all mothers, right? Number 4, everything's great. We negotiate, we get through inspections. At the end of the inspection period, I mean at the 19th hour, people, I think they had 1 or 2 hours left in their due diligence period, which is the period for them to terminate for any reason. And this is what we hear. Buyer number 4, during their due diligence, when they had, let me back up a little bit. When buyer number 4 agreed to our counteroffer for the sales price, they did not lock in their interest rate.
Right.
They said to the lender, I'm going to wait it out and I'm going to see if it goes lower. Guess what? It went up. And they couldn't qualify because it went up. They were at their max. It was higher than when they saw it.
Right.
So these people were going to be house poor. Now they didn't qualify because the interest rates had gone up during this time. And
Yeah.
that squashed that deal.
Yeah,
Wah,
that
wah,
killed that
wah.
one.
4 buyers under contract and terminated. I mean, you just can't make this up.
What was painful about that one is the agent called me at 8:30 the night of the due diligence to end. And, you know, my client called me at 8:45 and said, hey, you know, where are we looking? I said, look, I just got off the phone with the agent. He said everything looks great. You know, so they went to bed thinking that we're moving forward with a contract and that they would, the next steps were appraisal and finance contingency. Well, guess what? 11:45, 15 minutes before the due diligence ended, I get a
That's
termination in the mail, in the email.
That's right.
Not even a text or anything. I was like, oh my gosh. Nonetheless, there goes off the table.
Can't do anything about that.
So here you go. I'll let you finish the last one.
Oh, you're going to let me do it?
Yeah, because because people like you better than me.
Oh, stop. Okay, so buyer number 5, 5 times the charm. Buyer number 5 was smart. They locked in their interest rate, which actually had gone down right when they saw the house. And so they were smart. They were like, you know what? I don't want to take any risks. I'm going to lock in my interest rate. And everyone lived happily ever after. The end.
Right.
We closed. Everything was great. But the moral of the story is these sellers probably would not have made it through all of this if they didn't trust Greg and I, and we didn't have the knowledge and the skills to be able to navigate through everything. Even with experienced agents, stuff happens. That's completely out of our control. We could have not foreseen any 4 of the terminations. We would have never been able to head that off. Although I still think we shouldn't have let them back in the house for the parents to see it. But that's just, you know, that's me. The sellers said absolutely. So we granted their wish. The trials and tribulations of today's housing market. Folks, this is a roller coaster. We're in for it. We're in for the long haul. Nothing is perfect. And we just want you to know, if you're a seller, this could happen to you. If you're a buyer, any one of these things, any one of these experiences could happen to you. So if you're a buyer, listen, make sure you're absolutely positive that number 1, you can afford the house. Number 2, don't bring any friends or family members to see it before you close on it.
Kill your dreams.
Right. And number 3, lock in that interest rate.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're locking it in. And if you're a real estate agent and you've not been through an experience like this because you've only been licensed for the last 2 years and everything has been like pressing the easy button,
Right.
make sure that you educate yourself a lot. Make sure that you have a great mentor to bounce things off of. And if you are with a brokerage firm where you don't have a lot of support, get support, people. Drop a comment below. See how we can help you. And I'd be happy to reach out and help any of you, whether you're a real estate agent, a buyer, or a seller. We're here for you.
Don't forget about our investors.
And investors, yes. So folks, drop a comment. Please hit subscribe and like, as that really does help our channel to help bring you today's latest information.
Yeah. Also, pop some stuff about where your market is and what areas you guys are in, whether you're a buyer, seller, or a real estate agent as well. And we'd love to hear about everybody throughout the country and just keep things moving and stay positive.
Absolutely. All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.